On this episode, we talk about finding developers, is Facebook ads still a really good bet, and top-level domains. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 51 of the AskEngine show. If you are watching and you appreciate the new digs, part of that startup life is dealing with things that are unexpected, like your office flooding.
Yeah.
So we are here doing what we do, and it's a parallel for business. You can't control the weather, but you can control your reaction to it.
Yeah.
That sounded a lot better in my
But
head.
you can control not building flat roofs in the 21st century.
There you go.
Just going to say that.
Perfect. So we've got 3 questions for you. We're going to jump into them, and we'll go ahead and get started in.
Question number 1 is from r/entrepreneur, and they ask, what site should I use to find good and affordable programmers? A lot of people are going to say use Upwork. A lot of people are going to say use Fiverr. Don't do either of those. I'm a huge fan of a new resource we've been relying on heavily called Moonlight Work. And Moonlight has been a huge difference maker for Engine as we've been kind of needing to scale up or add additional weight on the pedal to move quicker. Moonlight Work is great. All the resources are pre-vetted. It's easy to use. It's a platform that you can basically post at a job, people applying. You can say, I want this guy, I don't want this guy. Usually you get 5 or 6 people applying to your job rather than going out and seeking and trying to find somebody.
Yeah, and if you're looking for local, the best thing I can recommend is go to meetup.com and find developer-centric events. So like it may not say like, hey, here we're posting a hiring party for developers, but it may be something that developers would be interested in. So check that out, and then run advertisements. So advertise on developer-friendly content, blogs, things of that nature.
Cool. Question number 2. Another one from Reddit. Are Facebook ads worth it anymore? Well, that's kind of interesting with all the news that's blasting out lately.
So here's, I want to give you all a little bit of a historical timeline. So what happened with Cambridge Analytica has not been legally allowed to happen. So Cambridge Analytica took that information legally. That's what Facebook's API partner program, it allowed them to do that. It was not wrong of them in the eyes of Facebook to do that. Facebook changed that in 2011. So that's a very important point that people are not talking about, is that you've not been able to do, unless you're doing it illegally, you've not been able to do what Cambridge Analytica did since 2011. The reason that it's surfacing up now is because it's like it's the concept of when it rains, it pours. Right now, Facebook is under heat, and Facebook has been under heat for quite a long time, for about a year now. And this is just another drop in that bucket. For advertisers specifically, I would just pose the question back to you: where are you going to go? Google and Facebook combined own 2/3 of the ad space. So what are you going to do? Everybody's sitting here talking about. I care a lot more about what people do than what they say. It's just like every single election, one side or the other is going to move out of the country if their candidate doesn't win. Nobody's moved out of the country. Everybody's talking about deleting Facebook. It still has 184 million daily active users in the US alone. That's half the population of Facebook logs on, or half the population of Facebook. Half the population of the United States logs into Facebook daily. So, honestly, I would highly recommend you double down on Facebook right now. Educate yourself on what's being pulled away, what's not being pulled away, things of that nature, because that's important. But as a platform, it is still cranking along. It is still the most targeted ads platform in existence. So if you can't find success on Facebook, you're going to struggle anywhere.
Yeah. Go where the eyeballs are.
Yeah.
I mean, if the eyeballs are still there, it's still worth it. CSE might be higher, but it's where traffic is.
It's still underpriced. Like that's the thing. Like people talk about, and it's about being an optimist with your marketing. If you think that this ruins Facebook, you're headline reading and you're not a practitioner. And I would highly recommend you stop reading headlines and actually get into the ads platform. Yes, there's been volatility. I'm not going to say it's not that way right now, but in a macro, it's still the best platform to be on.
Last question for today. This guy's doing an e-commerce website for dog stuff, so treats, collars, that sort of thing. Is it better for him to go after a .com TLD, top level domain, or a .dog TLD? I like .com. That's the domain authority lies with that. You look more official. There's a trust factor in going to brandname.com versus brandname.dog. The .dog might be great for short links or for sharing on social, that sort of thing, because it's fun and playful. But where you place your ads and where you drive your traffic to, make sure you're doing that .com.
Yeah. Think about it, again, from a consumer's perspective. It is an instinct to type in .com. That's why .co is an okay URL, but it's also not, because people are conditioned to type in the .com.
Yeah.
So you're fighting the conditioning that people have had since the dawn of the internet. So I would recommend not trying to fight that. I do like that from like a sharing perspective, but when it comes to your website itself, .com is still the most trusted domain. I mean, I went to a website the other day that a company's doing $1 million a year in e-commerce, and they don't have an SSL, and like that immediately concerns me.
Yeah.
And I think of myself like, I don't think of myself as like an average consumer, but that's something even an average consumer would struggle with when you go to put your credit card information into a website that's not secured.
It's that green lock that builds
Yeah.
trust. People may not know what an SSL cert is or what it means for a website, but they know that they're okay to shop and put their credit card in when they see that green lock in the URL bar.
Exactly. Very much so. Question of the day.
I've got one.
Ooh, go.
What's your favorite unique top-level domain that you've seen a brand use or you've seen like in a social campaign, that sort of thing?
Perfect. Thank y'all for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.